Well, it's been quite the year for gold and silver, hasn't it? 2025 has been a bumper year with record returns on gold and silver. It certainly feels good to be a gold and silver stacker in 2025. But it's not come without its stresses if you are a silver and gold stacker. This year has been quite the roller coaster. Lots of ups and downs, that's for sure. Not just, of course, in the world of gold and silver, but the world generally. And where will things be going forwards? I don't know, but we can at least look back upon 2025 with a degree of optimism and say, wow, this has been quite the year. It's not been without its stresses though, so let's dive in and talk a little bit about 2025 from a stacker's perspective. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another Precious Metal Ramble, where we have down-to-earth discussions about all things precious and shiny. And what a year for precious and shiny things it has been. 2025, nobody could have, I think, envisaged what the year would end up like at the beginning of the year. Certainly not myself. I mean, it's a long-awaited and, quite frankly, long-deserved windfall for a lot of seasoned silver and gold stackers. If you've been holding this stuff for a while, well done, because 2025 has undoubtedly been one of the best years on record for being a silver and gold stacker. It's nice to be proved right for a change when finally your investments come good. But as good and as great as this year has been, it's not come without its stresses, without its challenges. And I wanted to do a bit of a reflection on 2025 and what we can learn from it going forwards into 2026. Because if you thought 2025 was a little bit up and down, you just wait, because 2026 will say, just hold my beer. I can see things being pretty crazy in 2026, not just for gold and silver, but for business, for tax, for everything that it seems to want to throw at us. It is a tough time ahead. And that's what's good when you have silver and gold. You want those tough times ahead because it helps, of course, silver go up and gold go up as well. Now, that's not financial advice, and goodness knows I could not have predicted where things would be at the beginning of last year. Now, I've got a bunch of notes here to get through for my own sanity and sake, so you'll have to bear with me, but I do want to just do a 2025 year in review. Now, the first and most obvious thing is to talk a little bit about the world of gold and silver prices and the fact that we've seen quite so much of an increase. And by the way, guys and gals, if you have enjoyed our content this year, let me know by putting that comment down in the comment section below. It would be great to hear from you. And subscribe if you're not, because that's one of the things I want to start with by saying that 2025 has been a great year for precious metals, which has meant a great year for all precious metal content creator based channels. So the fact that we've seen silver and gold go up so much over this year has helped my channel grow. We've had over 20,000 new subscribers in this last 12 months since December last year, which is absolutely manic. In fact, I've got a few other little bits written down here I just want to get through. So we've got 20,000 subs, 6 million views that we've had over this last year. I've embraced YouTube Shorts. I know I've been long putting them off, but in February I was on holiday and I was a little bit bored on holiday. I know, first world problems, but I just decided to put together a bunch of shorts and they worked amazingly. So we have had a whole bunch of new viewers, new subscribers because of those. Still continue with the long form content because I'm a long form content kind of guy. We even hit 1 million views in the 30-day period for the first time ever in October, which is mad. So welcome and a huge thank you to everybody on the channel. And I can tell you that the million subscribe, not million, oh, I mean, yeah, well, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? The million subscriber milestone, the 100,000 subscriber milestone, hopefully will happen next year. And we will be doing a giveaway because we like doing giveaways on those milestones. And sponsors, we've had new sponsors come in with Germania Mint, CIT, Spectres. There are a whole host of new sponsors lined up, and I'm hoping to meet a bunch of them in Berlin as well, which is incredible. So it's been a year. It's been a fantastic year. From a precious metal perspective, of course, gold all-time highs. We did swap outs for gold, of the large gold. I mean, sovereigns, I'm all about the sovereigns right now. They are the best coin, but at the same time, they're now fast approaching that next bracket of the Royal Mail special delivery insurance. They're getting more expensive. Maybe half sovereigns are needing the requirement. And then last, just on this little page of notes, my business. My business has been thriving this year, of course, because of the precious metals increases. We've seen such a huge demand in new customers for both silver and for our intermediary services. I've got a small little noise in the background, which is a doggy. which I want to talk a little bit more about in a little bit. If you could settle down, please, on your bed. There we go. More on him in a minute. But yes, the business has been thriving this year, which is incredible. Of course, it's never taken for granted because any product maker, any premium product maker out there will understand that any market is tough, and one where prices continue to increase is equally as tough. But earlier this year, we were selling our products. The 1 ounce bars were at £43 an ounce, and our spot alone is 51 something an ounce. It's crazy. But yet still, with the end of the year when prices have hit a high, we've still been selling items and still been having new customers, and people still want these items, which is great. The only issue around that is, of course, the amount I can sell and the profit margins which are on there. It might sound a little bit mercenary, but at the same time, it's something to consider for me as a business. And with the silver price being where it is, there will be issues ahead for the Backyard Bullion poured silver brand in terms of the amount that I can sell from a VAT threshold perspective, and also the amount of work that I want to put in for what ends up being a really quite low margin. And that might sound very mercenary, but there's a lot of work and time and effort and energy and expense and overheads that go into this kind of thing. And we are hitting our 10-year anniversary next year. So there'll be some interesting decisions ahead for where I want to take the poured silver brand, whether I want to expand it further and just really kneel into the VAT element of it. I don't know. We're thinking about a lot of things right now when it comes to that. But there are other things in life which I want to talk about, personal stuff. So we've had a new baby. We had a new baby at the beginning of the year. So I've been juggling all of this stuff this whole year with this. And if anyone has kids out there, you know just how stressful having kids are, and then having 1 to 2 kids is crazy. So, it's the best thing that I've ever done, and I will never, ever doubt that it is the best thing I've ever done. But it bloody is stressful, and it's hard work, and there's a lot to factor in when you have kids and precious metals and safety and security. And so those kind of things really have weighed on me quite a bit this year, and they've formed a lot of the ways that I've thought about how I want to stack, how I want to live as well. I want to get onto a few personal things as well that have affected me. And if we sort of relate this to YouTube, I basically just try to crack on, try to get through this year as best as I can with all the stresses, with all of the change in schedules and sleep deprivation and all of these kind of things. Along with all of this, I've been on Monjaro for the last year. Of course, you guys don't really know me that well because I'm just here with hands and coins, but I've had a couple of people comment about the fact that you can see a few more of the tendons in my hands and stuff like that. And my hands have lost quite a bit of weight because I've actually had to change wedding rings this year. My old wedding ring kept falling off my hand because I have lost a total of 35 kilograms. I have toyed with the idea of doing a bit of a clickbait video, but I don't have enough kilo bars to make that. Since my absolute heaviest, I weighed 126 kilos. I now weigh 84 kilos. So I have lost 42 kilos worth of weight since my absolute heaviest, but 35 kilos since starting Monjaro. And I'm a new man. I really am. And I haven't really talked about it and mentioned it because there's a fair amount of silly stigma out there about people who do this. And they're like, oh, you're taking injections. You got the Microsoft microchips in your body or whatever. I'm a new man. I've lost 35 kilos in weight. I feel so healthy. Everyone I've met feels that. It's amazing, and I can't stress quite enough how amazing that is. It's made me want to really focus on the newfound health that I have. For those that have been following the channel for a very long time, my absolute worst health that I was in weight-wise, I had to go to hospital. I was admitted to hospital for a week. I was on intensive care unit, and you wouldn't have known from my YouTube because I've just kind of cracked on. I had a bunch of videos all scheduled, so it was kind of an opportune moment to go to hospital for intensive care, but I was there and I was scared and I was not well. Now I'm well. Now I'm really well, and that's fantastic for me. So a new stress has been taken away, I suppose. But then if we're going to talk about stress, we've also had a pretty tough year. One of our very good friends was diagnosed with cancer. Fortunately, it was not known at the time, but it's early days. So we are fortunately out in the clear from that, but it was very, very stressful to get that news and not a nice thing to go through. We've had an HMRC audit in my life. That was not pleasant at all. I mean, I had nothing to hide and I passed. But at the same time, getting those envelopes on the doorstep and having that, it's not fun. It's stressful. And so that was a hard thing to go through. the most stressful thing that we've had to deal with this year, which is relating to the doggy that I just mentioned, is that we lost one of our dogs this year in a really unexpected way. So yeah, cancer again. So cancer's hit us twice this year, but our dog just, fit, healthy 7-year-old dog, just suddenly one day wasn't fit and healthy anymore, and it hit him hard, and it hit us even harder. And then when we got the diagnosis, there was another bloody awful thing with the diagnosis, because we didn't really get a full diagnosis, because the tertiary vet centre that we spent an awful lot of money at to get this diagnosis, to try and work out what we wanted to do, they didn't get enough material and a biopsy, which I don't understand how it's possible. But then they asked us if we wanted to do it again for the pricely sum of another £5,000. Absolutely no, get in the bin. Not that I wouldn't spend that kind of money on our dog, but the fact is that we spent an awful lot of money to get an answer, and they didn't do a good enough job the first time round. And also the information they gave us is that it wasn't going to help. Our poor dog, you wouldn't know he was poorly in those last few weeks, but he suddenly took another turn, and we had to say goodbye, and that really hit hard. And it just seemed like something was going wrong because it was at the time our friend was poorly, and it took the time away from me having to deal with family stuff and work stuff, but we kept on going through it all. And I haven't mentioned it here on YouTube before this. A few of my very close friends here on the YouTube community know about this and knew about the stresses of it. But you wouldn't believe me. Well, I suppose some of you might believe me, but the last time we lost one of our dogs back in 2020, he was an old boy. It was his time to go. It hit me hard, and I shared that here on YouTube. I had a little video about it, and I got trolled comments, people talking about losing my dog, and I just didn't want that, so I haven't mentioned it until now. But we got a new dog, and that's really nice. So yeah, it's been a bugger of a year, quite frankly. It's had its ups and downs. Financially, it puts things in perspective, because ultimately, for us, family comes first. Life beyond the world of YouTube and gold and silver comes first, and that's really put a lot in my perspective. I'm very thankful, and I'm very lucky to have a job, inverted commas, that is here on YouTube with sponsors and with coins and everything that's appreciating so much right now. But it doesn't mean anything to me, really. Like, if this all had to go away tomorrow because I was poorly, or Mrs. Backyard Bullion was poorly, or God forbid one of our kids were poorly, I wouldn't care. That's the priority for me, and I'm sorry to say that to all of you lovely people in here, but I wouldn't care, because I'd have to put my family first. And I think this year has put my family in perspective about where I want to be in another 10 years' time, because we are coming up on our 10-year anniversary here on YouTube, and I look back at what we've achieved, and I'm very proud of what we've achieved. And God, we're going to be at 100,000 subs next year, I hope, if we continue the growth that we're on. Should be around the summertime next year or sooner. And that's something to be proud of, for sure. But ultimately, I'm a family man, and I want my family to be first every time. So the world we're in, I guess I'm sort of waxing lyrical a bit here, but the world we're in, the crazy world we're in of precious metals and having all of this stuff, and being so fortunate to have got into the world of precious metals when I did, and see the gains that I have, it puts things in a wider perspective for me that says, there are other things in life that I want to achieve as a father, as a family man, as somebody who just doesn't necessarily want to make videos on YouTube forever. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to go anywhere anytime soon, but it gets me thinking about what is important in life. And when you get thrown a bunch of curveballs in your life, it really makes you think about what is right and right for you. So I think for me, I'm super excited about 2026. I'm glad to see the back of 2025. It's been a good year financially, of course. That is something we cannot ignore. But there's been a lot of stress in 2025, and I hope that we can have a little bit of a normal year in many ways, from a personal perspective anyway. And, there's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot to be thankful for. I have my family. I have my health. Yes, we've lost one of our dogs, which is like losing a family member. It really is. And we had this dog before kids, and he really was the best dog in the world. And it really is sad. He's such a good dog. But we have a new family with this new dog, and he's just as good, just as good. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit upset about our dog because he was the best dog, and I wanted to share. I really did want to share, but I just hope that there are no trolls that come out and talk about that, because it's just so stupid that there were the first time around a few years ago when we lost our other dog. But I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful to all of you incredible people in the camera for helping, because in many ways this year has been great from all of the things I've talked about, but it's been balanced out by all the negative. But what's tipped it over into still being, I think, a good year, whilst it's had its stresses, is all of you for helping, for being there when I've been struggling and not being able to tell you because it wasn't the right thing to tell you. You're just there, and you're great, and you're wonderful. The cool kids, you just are fantastic. The fact that you will watch our content, and I'm just literally just a guy who turns on the camera and talks about stuff. Like, for the first time, I made some notes, but I've just kind of talked about things, and just, you know, that's what I like to do best, and that's the style that we have, and that's what I think is the most important thing. So where will we be in a year's time? I don't know. And it does worry me a little bit in terms of the world. Where will the world be in a year's time? I don't bloody know. It's going to be a hard one to really know. But I'll still be here hopefully making videos. And if I'm not, I'll have done it for the right reasons. But I will probably still be here making videos because I really enjoy this. And it does keep me sane. It keeps me grounded. And the fact that we have such a following, the fact that we have people who enjoy things I've got to say, and do you know what? I absolutely love going to Berlin and meeting people. If you get to go to Berlin this year, I love to see as many people as I can. It would be great to see you there. Certainly the guys from Stackers Social will be going in mass, and we'll come along and say hello. It's just an incredible experience to go to the World Money Fair. So yeah, that's it from me for this year, although probably not for the whole year, because we've got some other videos coming up, and I'm just going to get the calendar up. So this video, where is my calendar? There it is. So this video will be going out on Christmas Eve, and I do hope you all have a very happy Christmas and a very, very happy New Year. We've got an In Focus Friday before the end of the year, so that will be the 26th, the Boxing Day. So we'll do, I think we've got a Germania Mint video, which is going to be exciting. Then we'll just have some other content. I've got some pre-planned, pre-filmed content, so I'm not going to film anything else after today. And then we'll visit you again on New Year's Eve for another Precious Metal Ramble. We'll see how the world has ended for the year, and maybe we'll do some price predictions for 2026 for silver and gold. That'll be fun, see where we are for 2026. It could be an interesting one. See where we are at the end of the year as well, because God knows where we will be. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Thank you all for watching. Cool kids, you guys absolutely rock. And we can say with, that's what I was going to say. On the 31st, we're going to do the giveaway. 2 months worth of giveaways for Britannia's, for the cool kids. So you cool kids, if you want to say something for the Cool Kids Club entry for this month, then I think we need to say Good Riddance 2025. That is the phrase, because whilst it's been a good year, I don't mind seeing the back of 2025. So until next time, we'll see you all on the next video. As always, please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.